to be more physical. They need to play smart. Okay, and they need to play with a lot of emotion to win this ball game. And on the other side of the field, R.C. Slocum from A&M, he told me that he told his guys just to have fun. This is a great college atmosphere. It's a great rivalry here with the Bears. And just go out and have a lot of fun today. Steve?
Thanks a lot, Garrett. Reports throughout the game. Baylor won the toss, and they have deferred to the second half. And so A&M will be receiving and will be moving left to right. Sir Parker, number 8, and Dante Hall, the exciting freshman, 34, back deep for A&M. Ty Atterbury will kick it off. Dante Hall at about the 3. And he breaks through the first line and gets up to about the 23. Knocked down by 21 Sean Armistead and one of his own guys. Quarterback Brandon Stewart, completing 51% of his passes, will lead the A&M offense. And here are the Chili's starting lineup, backs and receivers for A&M.
And you take a look at Sir Parker there. He's 6 feet tall, 184 pounds, a sophomore. He's elusive. He has tremendous speed, 4.4 in the 40, and he's the most consistent back coming out of the backfield.
Eric Bernard, however, gets the start, passing on first down and going long and incomplete, intended for Dante Hawkins, and Robert the coverage on the left corner for Baylor. Here's the offensive line.
And what they've got to do is give great protection today. Calvin Collins is the senior there, 3 times All Southwest Conference, 41 career starts, power lifter, and he is the force that's going to hold this group together.
A&M trying to strike first down. Now it's 2nd and 10. Bernard gets a block right there to drop him for a loss, and a good play by Robert Mason, who fought through the block, and then Clarence Cruz came in for the cleanup. Mason, the leading tackler for this, the Chili's starting lineup for the Baylor Bears defense.
And linebacker there, Dean Jackson, he's the smartest guy up front, and coaches feel he needs to have a dominant game today in order to stop them on the ground. And out there in the defensive back, Rodney Artmore is going to have a lot of responsibility in coming up playing force on the run.
Eric Bernard lost a yard, his 3rd and 11, and the quarterback draw will come up very close to the first down marker. Going to be about 3 yards short, though, and Robert Mason again made the stop on Brandon Stewart. So A&M will have to punt it away on 4th and about 3.
Already we're seeing a little bit of a different look there. A pass going deep on a play action and the quarterback draw. So many times you do this early in the game just to get a feel of what the front's going to show you.
Khalif Muhammad dropping back to receive the punt of Shane Leckler. We're seeing 2 of the better punters in the conference and in the nation. Muhammad driven back inside the 20, and he'll get back to about the 25, and that's it. And a penalty flag goes down. A 51-yard punt by Leckler, and Philip Myers leads the charge to bring down Khalif Muhammad, but a penalty flag thrown at the end of the play. Our referee, Tom Allers, and a face mask against A&M. Here's the young quarterback, Jermaine Alfred, for Baylor, who has completed 52% of his passes, and he hasn't had that many starts, Brian.
Well, you know, and Chuck Reedy said what he likes about him, even though he's young, he has tremendous poise back there in the pocket. He's a very quiet leader, and what he's doing, he's learning to sight adjust and make better reads than before.
Alfred with just a single setback behind him on first down, play action, and incomplete. Intended for Darius Thompson, who was covered by Warwick Holdman of A&M. It'll be 2nd and 10. Here's the Chili's starting lineup for the Baylor offense. Their backs and receivers.
And the most productive out there, Khalif Muhammad, 5'6", 183 pounds, senior, 3,559 all-purpose yards. He'll take kickoffs back. He'll catch it out there receiving. He's lined up in the backfield. He is a game breaker. And the center there, Anthony Williams there in the offensive line, 6'2", 272 pounds. Most talented.
Hand out to the fullback, who's tripped up just as he crosses the line of scrimmage. Sean Washington tripped up by Edward Jasper. They call Jasper Troop because he's from Troop, Texas, and he's about the same size as the city.
And a stubborn defensive front led by linebacker Dat Nguyen. He's only a sophomore, but last year was a defensive newcomer of the year. He is something special. And the defensive back, Donovan Greer there, 5'10", 179-pound senior, twice All-Southwest Conference. He's experienced, but he's coming off a knee and a turf toe.
Sean Washington, game 2. It's 3rd and 8. Alfred to pass. Over the middle line, complete to Muhammad for the first down. Khalif to the 35 of A&M. Sean Horn brought him down in the secondary.
What we saw in that play was a break in some of that underneath coverage that allowed Muhammad to be there one-on-one with Dat Nguyen. That is a mismatch. The play started out exactly. Now we're seeing a drop back pass. They used the play action earlier before. The ball gets off just in time, and he's absolutely found a pocket underneath. There's a complete breakdown in the assignment.
1st and 10 at the 35. They set up the screen to Muhammad. Now he's trying to cut back, and he fumbles the ball. Alfred is right there to pick it up. Dat Nguyen hit Muhammad, but Alfred alertly came back and recovered the fumble. But the loss is back to about the 38.5.
One of the things that we'll see today is a much different Baylor offense. You can credit the offensive coordinator, the new offensive coordinator, Mark Gundy, who has now taken over the play calling role, and he meets with his teams on Thursday to put together the script for the opening drive.
2nd down and more than 13, and they throw it out to Muhammad in the flat. All alone, trying to get away. He cannot, and he'll lose a couple of more yards back to the 40. Let's check in and get an update in New York with John Saunders. John.
Steve, this update.
Bill Bennett, the defensive coordinator. Alfred, a wide open Morris Anderson for a big Baylor gain. Sean Horn had the coverage for A&M, but on 3rd and about a quarter mile, Baylor picks up the first down. 16 of A&M.
Again, what we're seeing is so vital to the new look of Baylor. We're going to put the ball in the air more. One thing you're going to see is tight ends getting the ball, mixing it up, getting the ball to many different receivers, showing many different looks out of the backfield.
That was a gain of 24. And remember, A&M and Shane Leckler got off a 51-yard punt. Baylor has driven all the way down to the A&M 16. Dexter Ford banging off tackle down to about the 8 in the grasp of Philip Myers.
Ford came into this game after a fantastic run of it coming off the bench last week when Gerard Douglas got hurt. 153 yards on 20 carries and 2 touchdowns, and now they're in that red zone.
And he's averaging 5.7 yards per carry. As you look at Myers, who made the stop. 2nd down, nearly 8 yards to go. And now movement along the line of scrimmage, and whistle stop play. The linesman and the umpire.
It looked like big number 95 there, Edward Jasper, in the middle there, leaping off sides.
All right, so you heard Tom Aller say there's no flag. It's going to be picked up, and it remains the same down. So I guess encroachment wasn't enforced because the ball was not snapped and there was no contact made. 9 minutes 58 seconds to go in the first quarter. No score, but Baylor threatening on 2nd down. Dexter Ford with a huge hole. Touchdown.
credit that big offensive line led by Anthony Williams, the senior there. They came off the ball, and one thing they were going to do, they were going to use a zone blocking scheme, which means they are going to all step together and work. Now, if you see right in the middle of your screen, all the line steps to the left, and there's a natural seam, a cutback on the backside as he keeps cutting back. Dexter Ford shows you why he was so effective last week.
Just like you draw it up.
He's got great vision. Great vision. That's what they needed.
Kyle Atterbury on to attempt the extra point. It is good. And with 9:47 to go in the first, Baylor scores first to lead the Battle of the Brazos 7-0. Of course, has not beaten A&M, and it's got to feel good for him, Brian, to be up 7-0 early.
Well, I think what he's excited about, I sat and talked with him in his office earlier in the week, and he says, what I've done is completely turned over the offensive play calling to Mike Gundy. And now what he's seeing is really not just a march down the field, a whole new future in the way Mike Gundy likes to come out and attack defenses with a wide open offense.
Ty Atterbury, one of the two Atterbury brothers on the Baylor team, kicks it off, and again it's Sir Parker and Dante Hall. Deep for A&M, and Dante Hall will watch it sail out of the end zone. I'll tell you what, Atterbury averaging 46.6 yards per punt to lead the nation, and not only that, a big leg kicking off. Let's go down and check in again with Gary Reasons on the sidelines. Gary.
Well, Steve, as many of the Baylor and A&M fans came to the ballgame today, they exit off of Valley Mills Drive off Interstate 35, and they saw a sign that they were entering Beverly Hills and leaving Waco. Actually, this is not UCLA. This is where Baylor's Floyd Casey Stadium is, and they're going to do football Beverly Hills style here with the Bears and A&M.
Is the zip code here 90210? I don't think so.
You give it to Eric
Bernard picking his way up across the 25, near the 28, knocked down by George McCullough in the secondary. So Bernard kind of a surprise starter in the backfield for A&M. We thought it might be Sir Parker. We thought it might be Dante Hall. Brandon Stewart has had his ups and downs. 2nd and 2. Bernard again. And second effort will get him the first down. Dean Jackson, the leading tackler, or the second leading tackler, rather, behind Mason making the stop. There's even a sign, as Gary mentioned, that says Beverly Hills. There it is. You're entering Beverly Hills. Population 2048. Not quite enough numbers to be the zip code. There's a fine line between Waco and Beverly Hills. Bernard slipping down as he tried to cut back. Again, it was Dean Jackson covering him.
What they're doing so effectively, they're playing so aggressively up front. That's one thing that inspirational leader is responsible to do with this young Baylor group. So many sophomores, so many of them who were in the shadows of that great defense, hard charging front of last year. Now they've had to step it up a notch.
Bernard gained 2 at 2nd and 8. Play action. Stewart under pressure. Completes it to the tight end, Dan Campbell. And Rodney Atmore brings him down, but not before A&M picks up a first down near midfield. They're right at the 50.
Both coaches starting out saying we're going to do something a little bit different today. They looked on the game films, they studied, they realized that there is a way that you can expose the defense. How do you do it? You do it by play action, because there's such a run threat. And now you look downfield to your tight end. They don't throw the ball a lot. Usually it's Derek Spiller there, but Dan Campbell got the grab that time.
Bernard on first down. Tries to cut it back and picks up about 3 to the 47 of Baylor. And again, Dean Jackson making the stop. Jackson made almost every running tackle for the Baylor defense so far.
Bernard back there. 4-4 in the 40. 37-inch vertical jump. He's explosive too. There's so many great names back there.
Bernard is 5'10", 190. He gained 4. 2nd and 6. Stewart rolling again. And completing it again to the tight end Campbell, who just did hold on, even though he juggled the ball. And it was Rodney Artmore again, the strong safety, who cut him down. But it's another A&M first down at the Baylor 35. Nope, 32.
And what's so important about what you're seeing here is you get the chance to understand the type of protection and learn how the defense gives you trouble by the quarterback running out there. Brandon Stewart seems to be very effective and very comfortable running out of the pocket and setting up his timing for this great drive.
Bernard may have missed the hole. It appeared to be farther outside. Dean Jackson again was right there to meet him as Mr. Jackson and Mr. Bernard are getting well acquainted. Just under 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Baylor leading 7-0. Gain of 2. It'll be 2nd and 8. One thing about it, if Bernard starts losing a little gas, A&M's got a couple other guys they can go to.
They can get right in there.
Now Tiki Hardiman is into the game, number 20 at the up back position. Stewart, lots of time. The ball might have been tipped as he tried to get it out to Albert Cannell. It looked like Clarence Cruz got a hand on it for Baylor. It's going to be 3rd and 8.
Now, if you take a look, the ball is thrown there and it's tipped there just at the end, getting a hand on it. There's a little bit of pressure coming from the outside, but I don't think that bothers him one bit. Again, what you're seeing here is the clever use of the play action pass, getting and opening up a defense, finding out how they're going to pressure you. You know you're going to have to come out and blitz, and that really, in effect, helps establish your running attack.
This is the 9th play of the drive. It is 3rd and 8. And Stewart slipped down in the backfield at the 36, and he's covered there for a loss by Robert Mason and Dean Jackson.
R.C. Slocum said that one thing that this team has to do is just settle down and play. They experienced so many problems early in the year in turnovers and in penalties, but in situations exactly like that.
That looked like a broken play, Brian.
Well, there it just slips on the turf. I don't know what type of shoes he's had on. Those kind of things you need to check out before the game.
Kyle Bryant on to attempt a 53-yard field goal. Bill Johnston is the holder. Bryant has made 12 of 16 field goals this year, and this one looks like it's pushed off to the right and no good. He had enough leg, even though it was against that swirling wind, but wide right. 5:38 to go in the first. Baylor still leading A&M 7-0. Baylor just outside their own 35. They lead it here in the first quarter 7-0. Dexter Ford looking for a hole and gains maybe a couple. Let's check in again in New York with John Saunders. John.
Well, Steve, it has happened. Purdue is knocked.
Thank you, John. Well, I'll tell you what. That'll do a little something to the Big Ten. Ohio State really in the driver's seat now. Sean Washington, the fullback, cannot hold on. Warwick Holdman had the coverage on him, and it'll be 3rd down now and about 8.5 to go.
Those outlet passes that you throw to your backs are so important to be able to create that outside pressure on that perimeter there. Sean Washington backing up there just could not hold on.
3rd down and about 9. Dexter Ford trying to go straight ahead. He cannot. Good play by Warwick Holdman. Number 43 has been all over the place so far. Holdman, only a sophomore out of A-Leaf, Texas.
They like Holdman. He's one of the most athletic out of the front. He's a big play player. They look to him to have postseason honors, and the way he can really contain it with that great speed that he has. 4.6 in the 40. He already has 62 tackles for the year, 38 and 24 unassisted.
Ty Atterbury on to punt for Baylor, and Dante Hall back deep for A&M inside his 20. Atterbury with a boomer. Hall's going to let it go, and it goes in and out of the end zone. That's why Atterbury leads the nation in punting, a 62-yard boomer. 7-0 Baylor. As Baylor leads it 7-0. 1st and 10 Aggies at their 20. Bernard cuts back nicely, gets to the 25. maybe the 26, hauled down by Don Arroyo at linebacker, the redshirt freshman. Let's check in again with Gary Reasons.
Steve, I had a chance to talk to Andy McCullum, the defensive coordinator here at Baylor, and I talked to him about his defense. It's kind of been up and down. In 1995, they were 5th in the nation in total defense, but however, in 1996, they have fallen to 103rd. I'll tell you, things have not gone well for them defensively. They don't run, they don't stop the run. They're 107th in the nation, and expect A&M to try to run that ball down their throat today. Steve?
Thank you. They are trying to do that. They go back to Bernard again. He has a better hole this time, and he picks up the first down, punching it across the 30. Robert Mason, leading tackler for the Bears, on the stop. And Mason getting up a little slowly.
Exploiting the entire field.
Play action. Stewart has lots of time and gets it away to Albert Connell, who's bumped out of bounds with another first down in Baylor territory at the 46 by Nakia Cody, the free safety. That's the man they want to get the ball too deep. Albert Connell, their leading receiver. He's a senior now.
What you do, you see how effective the play action pass is. We have not seen that much deep drop, but in the sprint out there, Connell is the man they want to get the ball to. He usually is the one who's going to draw double coverage, and it's an excellent reception.
Gain of 22. Back to Bernard, who busts through and gets it down near the 41 before he's shoved back by Arroyo. Hey, want to remind you that Monday night, down and 5 at the Baylor 41. Going deep over the middle, incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Derek Spiller.
And in the backfield there, Tiki Hardeman is going to line up there at fullback. He did an excellent job picking up the blitz read. They came up the middle hard. He just took them right down. It allowed the ball to get out. And that, on that particular throw, when you have to go over the middle like that, it's got to be a low throw. So it's got to be there so you get those 6-footers to get their hands down.
3rd and 5. Sir Parker now in the backfield for A&M. Baylor coming with a blitz. They try to beat it with a slant, but Stewart missed 2 guys. I don't know which one it was intended for. He had the tight end Leroy Hodge and wide receiver Dante Hawkins, one short and one long, and the ball went right between them. And A&M today so far 0 for 3 on 3rd down conversions.
This is the kind of consistency that R.C. Slocum said that his players need to develop there. Brandon just needs to sit back there, relax, zip that ball off. It's a quick pass, high percentage.
Baylor doesn't drop anybody back, and the ball sails into the end zone as A&M Shane Leckler couldn't put it out inside the 10. It'll be 1st and 10, Baylor at their 20 with 2:11 left to go in the first quarter. Dexter Ford on 1st down into the secondary, and enough for a 1st down for Baylor, tripped up by Brandon Jenkins, the free safety, and it's a gain of 12.
Well, they're out there running right behind their big tight end, Bradley Domel. They're pushing on that side. Michael Johnson, Jermaine Jackson, creating the room that they need to get. One thing this offensive line does is they switched around a little bit. They got some more heavies up there in front to be able to keep the push and come off the ball more aggressively.
Baylor at their own 32. Ford again, and he will go nowhere as 3 A&M defenders meet him behind the line of scrimmage. Zarek Rollins, Brandon Mitchell, and Edward Jasper, the nose guard, deposited themselves in the backfield. Loss of 2. It'll be 2nd and 12.
Edwin Jasper, number 95, has tremendous instincts. He came in as a linebacker, put on 40 pounds his sophomore year, adjusted to it, and now he leads the team in tackles for loss there with 28. He gets him back with the pro prospects are really excited about his ability in that front line.
Clifton Rubin, number 31, in at fullback. Play action. Alfred in trouble and down inside the 20. Edward Jasper, big troop, back there for the sack.
When you line up and have to play against him, it's going to take more than one. You see him right there against Anthony Williams, throws him away. The running back can't help there. That's not enough. He just doesn't get enough time. That, I can tell you right now, with him getting through that middle like that, that tells me as a coordinator that I'm going to be putting more pressure in between the guards in this next drive.
Big troop, 300 pounds. Third down and long for Baylor. Alfred going long, incomplete. A fine adjustment by Darius Thompson to try to come back for that ball, even though the free safety Brandon Jenkins was right with him, but he just couldn't hold on, and Baylor will punt it away. On Baylor's scoring drive earlier in the first quarter, they overcame 2 or 3 third and longs. This time,
Darius Thomas, not the most experienced guy in the world, but they really like him. He's got poise. Reedy said that he is going to get a good look this week.
Ty Atterbury punting to Dante Hall, and Atterbury just booms another one. Hall back inside the 20 at the 18. And to about the 30, where he is finally brought down a 62-yard punt and a 12-yard return with Curtis Henderson making the stop for Baylor.
You know, Atterbury just seems to put his whole body into the ball when he kicks it. He is just really something else back there. He reminds me of the old big punter. Who was that for the Dolphins?
Reggie Roby could boom him, couldn't he? As you see, just 3 seconds left in the first quarter. This should be the final play of the period. Dante Hall in at tailback for A&M. And he's got the ball. And he is upended as he gets to the 35. Maybe the 36 by Rodney Atmore, rather, and that'll do it. That's the end of the first quarter here in Waco. Baylor leading 7-0. 20-2 in his career at A&M. Second down and 4 as we start the second quarter. Dante Hall has the first down as he sneaks out to about the 42. Dean Jackson again making the stop for Baylor. And let's check out the stats from the first quarter of play.
And if you look right down there, one thing that jumps out at you, A&M, they've got 45 yards rushing. But look at there, Baylor with 19. Time of possession, it's just about split. Total yards, 97. But the score, Baylor's out front at 7 at this point. That's kind of surprised everybody. And R.C. Slocum, I can tell you, is very attentive to what he needs to do to get him going.
Brandon Stewart looking long, throwing long, has Albert Connell out there, and he can't hold on at the 10. Nakia Cody, the free safety, was running with him. The ball was well thrown, and Connell just let it go through his hands.
Well, this is exactly why this offense, they have manipulated so many parts of the field early on to set this play up. They felt early on that sometime they were going to set up to go deep. They want to get Connell out there, and that is not a typical of him. Albert is a sure-handed receiver. He's the go-to guy with tremendous speed, and you saw Brandon there just lay that ball perfectly right on the money.
Stewart 3 of 8 passing so far for 52 yards. It is 2nd and 10. Stepping up, firing again. Complete. That time, Matt Baumgartner was led just a little too far. Robert Neal at right corner had the coverage for Baylor. It's going to be 3rd and 10.
You've got to give credit where it's due. That line up front has really given Stewart the kind of protection executing the play action pass. A bunch of juniors up there, 6'6", 295 pounds. Chris Ruman, the left tackle. Steve McKinney, the right guard, 6'5", 292 pounds. They are big.
Stewart on 3rd and 10. Firing incomplete again. This time intended for 88 Leroy Hodge. And the ball thrown too far in front of him. So it's 4th and 10. And A&M will have to punt it away. And really, Brian, that's not their game plan. They just threw 3 passes. And that's really not what they do best.
This is a little bit of surprise for me. I'm not really understanding the thinking behind this strategy of play selection.
Shane Leckler on the punt. Almost as good a punter as Atterbury as he booms one out of here. And Muhammad will let it go. And a good job by Muhammad, but it's going to be down inside the 5. Fine play by A&M. Jason Webster down there to down at a 51-yard punt. And Muhammad did all he could do to try to deke him, but the ball didn't go in the end zone. So Baylor packed up inside their 5. Dexter Ford trying to get outside, and he cannot. Dat Nguyen with a big tackle. Let's again check in on the sideline with Gary Reasons.
I talked to Chuck Reedy about his offense. He told me they need to be more physical. And one of the things that they want to adopt here at Baylor is a Nebraska philosophy, and that is knockdowns. Brian's going to like this. He said that when they played Nebraska, their defense got knocked down 120 times. They never kept stats here at Baylor, but they're doing it now. They've got 46, 80, and 82 the last 3 weeks, and they want to count those again today against A&M.
Sounds like they're getting better at it every week, too. Dexter Ford again. Trying to cut back. He gets only to the 5 before he's shoved back by about 5 or 6 white shirts. So Baylor having a tough time punching it out of there after that tremendous play by Webster and Jones down that ball inside the 5.
The one thing they wanted to do to shore up that front is to put Zarek Rollins on that front to give him more speed there.
Play coming in kind of late. Play clock down to 10. 3rd and 8. Play action. From the end zone, Alford just gets rid of it, and it was almost picked off. And a flag is thrown. Khalif Muhammad wanted interference, and he may have gotten the call. It looked like Warwick Holdman may have been the guilty party. Brandon Mitchell was chasing Jermaine Alfred in the end zone, and Alfred just unloaded it to Muhammad.
Well, you can credit that pass with all that pressure that's being put on by that defensive rush.
It is interference against A&M.
When you try to get out and run your routes, one thing you count on is a quarterback getting some time to throw. You can see right there that interference at that play, but that ball had to be thrown down and low because there was so much pressure coming out of the backfield.
I think it was Donovan Greer actually who made the contact too early, and then Warwick Holdman came over afterwards. So the call might have been against 27 Donovan Greer. It's going to give Baylor a first down at the 13. Play action. Alfred under pressure. He's in the end zone. Gets it away, but it's incomplete. It was intended for Darius Thompson, but he threw behind him. Keith Mitchell was coming hard and caused him to unload the ball. Next Saturday at 11 Central. Good protection this time, but it's almost intercepted and dropped. Sean Horn had 6 points, and he may have been looking at the end zone rather than the football.
What a frustrating moment for you. He knew it. When you try to press so hard, he's out there in the corner, 5'11", 188 pounds, a sophomore. There was nothing but green there for him to just score, just grab it and a go. The ball was not thrown well. There you see him cutting right in front, and he just saw green. He didn't concentrate on just grabbing that ball, and that will haunt him all night long.
Sean Horn is quite a singer. He has a great singing voice. They call him the choir. He's singing the blues right now.
Right. He's that baritone blues.
12:35 to go in the second quarter. Baylor still leading 7-0, and now Alfred asking for a timeout, as it's going to be 3rd down and about 10. So we'll take a timeout as well and return to Waco in just a minute. Rubin in at fullback, but it's Dexter Ford trying to get to the outside, and he does. Horn has him and hauls him down with what appears to be short of the first down.
With that swarm of that defensive front, they shut off those running lanes. But what makes Dexter so dangerous is the way he's able to explode and get outside and find that open real estate. These things gave the Longhorns last week enormous amount of problems trying to contain a running back who can go anywhere. Take a look here. You go back again. It's another play action pass. They're going to see him win a draw later. Watch him break here, and then it just goes outside. tremendous amount of acceleration against an excellent defensive front. Defensive front, Reedy said, was the very best defense front that he's seen all year long, with the exception of Nebraska.
Atterbury now again with Dante Hall back for A&M. And Ty hits this one high and short. It bounds at about the 40. And Baylor will down it as it was about to take an A&M bounce. So A&M will have a lot better field position after this exchange, as they'll have it at their own 37, first and 10, down by 7 with over 12 minutes to go in the second.
Never shown, we're just missing on a play here and there.
Bernard trying to cut back, tripped up over some feet and went down at about the 41. He gains a couple, tripped up by Jason Jackson. At the conclusion of today's game, we're going to be selecting the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team. And to date, Chevrolet has awarded nearly $6 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. That's the Chevrolet Most Valuable Players of the Game at the end of the game today. 2nd and 8. Stewart. Lots of time. Over the middle and incomplete. Finally, a receiver coming open as Albert Cannell is inside the 50. Dancing and running out of bounds. At the 10.
Stewart pass complete to number 80.
Robert Neal shoved him, and Albert Cannell almost fought it off and tiptoed, but there's a flag back at the line of scrimmage. A penalty at the line of scrimmage.
Now this kills you. You see Cannell there in the break, and he catches the pass. You don't notice it, but he's got a little bit of limp. He's got some problem with his groin or leg. He's not 100%, and he still almost burst and make it into the end zone.
A 53-yard play that apparently is going to be wiped out. Tom Allers and crew. It is holding.
On the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the fall. Repeat the down.
I'll tell you what a break for Baylor and Chuck Reedy.
Yeah, he knew that he had to put a lot of people up front to stop the run. And when you do that, you expose your defensive backs that he said are young, and they're just learning.
And this is what's plagued A&M all season long. They have hurt themselves as much or more as the opposition has. Instead of 1st and goal, it's now 2nd down and 20 from the 26. Cutting up the center screen. Incomplete and almost picked off. Kenyatta Parker had a chance to get that ball, and Sheldon Mallory was right in the face of Stewart.
Whenever I've seen the design of this screen work well, the quarterback will drop back and set, and then instead of dropping deeper, he'll actually pull the defense away, which will allow him to expose his running back that's hiding just behind his offensive line. You didn't see that happen on that play there. It was a straight drop back. Much more difficult to complete that pass.
3rd and 21. Stewart has time, and now the protection breaks down, and he's down. Donnie Embra at 290 pounds with a big play for Baylor.
Donnie Embra, they like the way he can put pressure on him. He's a JC guy, came out, great rush. He's not been the steadiest player, but then he shows up there right in the middle, coming out of the backside, comes off the block inside to be able to get that sack.
Shane Leckler to punt. Khalif Muhammad with a fair catch at the 36 of Baylor. So on that exchange, Baylor gained some yardage as well after the 53-yarder was wiped out by a penalty and a 42-yard punt. 7-0 Baylor. Elijah Perkins into the game at tailback, and Elijah gets a good hole and is close to a first down. He's going to be a couple of yards short, but a good first down game. And check in with Gary Reasons.
Well, Steve, if you've ever wondered what a Baylor Bear might eat for a pregame meal, well, I'm not talking about a Baylor football player. I'm actually talking about their mascot. This is Jenny. This is an American black bear. It's a 10-year-old bear, and it is a playful little thing. And I tell you, it's a great mascot here. This is Jenny, and she's only 10 months old, and she's going to have a 2-year stint here at Baylor. This is her first season. Oh, she's eating my microphone cord now. She's hungry.
You better watch your leg there.
You know, Brian, she will actually eat anything. So if you got a couple extra cheeseburgers, send them down and I'll feed them to her for
you. Well, omnivorous goes up here in the booth too. I think we can describe Brian in that same fashion.
It's omnivorous. We got a lot of like.
Omnivorous, yes. Eat anything. Pat Williams made the tackle, but I think it might be just enough for the first down. And it is. First down, Baylor. As they get it just across the 47. I thought the Baylor Bears name was Ted. Ted E. Bear. Oh, they have a great program with bear country up in the Dakotas. They have a new bear every 2 years here at Baylor, and they rotate them around. It's really kind of a neat deal. First and 10, Bears. Perkins trying to bounce it outside, and a good defensive play by Mitchell. Keith Mitchell, so quick and so strong. He's 235 pounds, a senior out of Garland, Texas. And when he gets a hold of you, you usually don't get away.
And, you know, he doesn't just play the stand-up outside. You'll see him in a three-point stance. He's so explosive on that outside corner.
He dropped Perkins for a loss of about a half yard. Here comes Elijah again, but this time he's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Underneath on the bottom, big 99 Pat Williams. And Edward Jasper. I guess we better call Edward Troop, huh? They call him Troop because he's from Troop, Texas, and the fact of the matter is that Troop, Texas is not much bigger than Edward. There's 9.
One thing they count on with him up there, he's not a big talker, but his senior leadership. He's tremendously quick up in the middle and really knows how to get off that first block quickly, engage him with his hands, and get rid of the blocker.
Alford under pressure gets it away and lofts it high and deep, but plenty of coverage back there. Brandon Jennings, the free safety, and a couple of other guys as well. So Baylor will have to kick it away. Pass was intended for Cruz. Time Atterbury is going to be driving it into the wind, a low line drive, and Hall takes it at the 16. And look at him get away. Gets a block, and Atterbury busts him out of bounds along with Dean Jackson on the far side. But Dante Hall is some kind of exciting player. He is, Brian, as the coaches say, the full package.
You know, you take a look at him too. He's not big, but take a look at those thighs. He's got such explosiveness, and when he was looking for a college to go to with all the talent in the backfield, people asked him, why would you want to come there? And he says, with the leadership they got and the friendships that he developed, he wants to stay and loves his team.
An 18-yard punt return by Hall gives A&M a first and 10 at the 34. Baylor leading 7-0 with just over 8 minutes to go in the first half. Bernard to about the 36, and that is all. And again, let's get a story from Gary Reasons here.
Steve, after that last series, remember Albert Cannell made the big catch. Well, actually, he came off the field and was kind of a little frustrated. This A&M offense might be completely frustrated, kind of pointing fingers at the offensive line. They need to get that straightened away, or they're not going to do very well against the Baylor defense that is playing pretty well today.
You're right, and it's not time to be finger pointing. It's time to be getting together. But obviously frustrated by the holding penalty erasing that 53-yard gain. Bernard again, and Jason Jackson drops him just about at the line of scrimmage.
The defensive coordinator for Baylor, Andy McCullum, talked about what he needed to do, and that is pressure them up front. And now we've got a new quarterback in.
Randy McCowan is in at quarterback, replacing Stewart. McCowan is a redshirt freshman out of Jacksonville, Texas. 3rd and 8. Here comes the blitz, and again. Fine play once again by Jason Jackson.
That's exactly what they said they wanted to do when they brought in the new quarterback. In the middle of that, they want to run them right up the field. They want to put the blitz on. They want to create pressure. They know they're making it difficult for their defensive back when they do it, but there you go. There was no way Eric Bernard could get up there quick enough with the blitz so well timed. What he should have done in his checkoff is go back into shotgun to be able to avoid that rush.
Shane Leckler on to punt again. He's got the wind with him and pressure from Baylor. But he gets it off to Khalif Muhammad, who's going to let it bounce out of bounds inside the 30. 6:24 to go in the second quarter. Baylor's defense playing so much better than they have before. Baylor leading 7-0. Ford pulling people forward as he gets to about the 35 for a gain of 6.
What I'm seeing is an offensive line that are staying on their blocks and securing it. And there with the delayed draw, the offensive line drew them back and created a nice little pocket there for Flort to slip underneath and accelerate.
They actually marked that ball maybe closer to the 29. It's probably a little more realistic to say 2nd down and 5.
Chuck Reedy was really happy with the way the offensive line is starting to gel and play better like never before.
Dexter Ford again. And he has the first down as he gets to the 40. In the grasp of Brandon Jenkins, the free safety who came up to make the stop. Brandon Jenkins, a true freshman.
When you got a good set of guards up there and you've got your scheme worked out, you can run that inside trap play there to get your backs right out there and squirt right through that defensive line.
Well, they have helped Brandon Ford gain 49 yards so far on 11 carries. He has scored the only touchdown of the game. And Sean Washington is in the backfield now with him at fullback for Baylor. First down. Alfred trying to get it away, does. Incomplete, intended for Muhammad, who's looking for a flag again at the 45, but none is forthcoming this time. And it'll be 2nd and 10.
Now there you get a good look at his face there. Look at him. He just is absolutely relaxed, doesn't seem to be bothered. He won't show any emotion. Reedy said that's just the kind of player he is. And at first the coaches interpreted it like he wasn't really interested or he was kind of lethargic, but that's just his style. The word they used was unflappable.
He's cool, calm, and collected.
And you need to be in that rush that he's starting to get.
That's right. Almost every play he's throwing, he's under pressure now. He came all the way over to the sidelines, did Jermaine, to get the play call from his coach. Set up the screen, and it's a tight end screen, but over the head of Bradley Domel, the intended receiver. Shun Horn over there with coverage for A&M.
Well, Shun wasn't faked out by that at all. He saw it and read it right away, and Jermaine, what he did, he just threw that ball away, because that's not a ball you want to play around with. That's an intercept for a touchdown in that territory. See, just motion there. I just threw it away. That's what he did.
That's what he did.
That's what he did. Twice this year they've already thrown to him over 20 times. That's the kind of difference in the new scheme under Mike Gundy with this offense.
Quick to Muhammad. It's off him and incomplete. Almost intercepted. Almost halftime with about 4:55 to go. So let's check in with John Saunders and see what's coming up on Valvoline Halftime 96. I want to see most too. Atterbury punting to Dante Hall, who lets it bounce. It takes a Baylor bounce, and it'll be down just outside the 10-yard line. Boy, this is why, Brian, coaches always talk about the kicking game. That's a 57-yard punt inside the 15, and the fans say, yeah, don't tell me about the kicking game and turnovers. Tell me about the players. Tell me about your offense. This game is a prime example of the field position, and the reason Baylor's leading 7-0 is kicking game, which has created field position.
And it makes all the difference in the world. One thing when you have a change of possession you count on some sort of emotional, intangible momentum. With boots like that, that just drains it right out of you.
Randy McCowan back in at quarterback for A&M. Dante Hall, flags go down, and I think the officials were trying to stop it before it actually got underway. So it'll probably be an offensive penalty.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5 yards. Repeats the down.
And to make matters worse for A&M, they make another mistake that's going to put them now inside the 10-yard line.
Well, R.C. Slocum said he really feels strongly about having two quarterbacks that can really go in there at any time and play.
Let's get a quick report from Gary Reasons. Isn't doing it. So you got to do something. Play action. McCowan has time, but he can't find anybody open, and he's going to go down at the 2. A coverage sack as Sheldon Mallory brought him down.
What McCown was trying to do there, he saw that he did not have his deep ball there, and this is what happens when you press a little too much. Being a redshirt freshman back there, he sits there pressing. Now he decides to scramble. This is where he should have gone down. He's looking for the big play, and you don't need it at that point. You need to have your poise and quit taking so much pressure upon yourself to win the football game.
Sheldon Mallory looked like he was shaken up on that play as well. Dante Hall tripped up as he crosses the 5, falling forward. Malcolm Hamilton, number 34, making the stop. And A&M struggling to get it out from deep in their own territory or get anything consistently going offensively.
And this is where you rely on your offensive coordinator right now, Steve Unsminger, to sit there and get the play selection called, something that'll work. Maybe you need to get it to Dante Hall out there in the flat. Throw a screen at this part of the field. Get that big deep sweep going that you run so well.
3rd and 17. Dante Hall trying to get outside. He is trying to run the sweep. But Jackson over there, and Albert Connell trying to block for him, but Baylor did a great job. Sheldon Mallory, even though he's shaken up, is out there as well. And Dean Jackson and Rodney Atmore were not going to let Hall get outside. But we got holding against A&M, and that may be declined because it'll bring up 4th and about 13. Boy, RC's got to be frustrated.
He's just saying, settle down. Just settle down. It's early. It's just 7 points. And sometimes what happens, because they are sort of stunned at their performance this year, you forget the fact that it's just 7 points. Something you can make up. You have the offense that can explode and do it. The
penalty is declined, bringing up 4th down. A&M has not converted a 3rd down today. They are 0 for 7 on 3rd down conversions. Khalif Muhammad drops back to about his 42, and Shane Leckler will kick it from the end zone. Muhammad comes up to 50, and he's not going to go down necessarily. Now he does, but he's stopped at about the 42 by Jason Webster, who's done a good job on special teams. A 40-yard punt and an 8-yard return by Muhammad. So Baylor again enjoys the field position. They have the 7-0 lead with 2:42 left to go in the first half.
He has been such a big part of this offense there. Receiving, he's gone over 1,000 yards, and return, he's well over 1,000 yards. As a running back, he's lined up back there. He only needs 4 more yards to have 1,000 yards. Khalif Muhammad can really do it all for him.
Baylor first down from the A&M 42. Dexter Ford sliding off tackle and getting outside. He got a block from his wide receiver and got inside the 25 to the 22. Brandon Jennings, the free safety, ran him out of bounds, but Morris Anderson at wide receiver did a good job of leading the play for a 20-yard gain for Baylor.
One thing that is so hard to do for wide receivers is to sustain long blocks downfield. You see the great opening there and Ford bursting there, but there's the block by Morris Anderson that creates the next 10 yards that he picks up.
From the 22, Dexter Ford again. They seal off. He gets outside and picks up a few inside the 20. And let's again check in with Gary Reasons.
Steve, a quick update on Sheldon Mallory, number 96, the left defensive end for Baylor, who went off the field after he sacked McCown to set up that drive. He's up and okay. He's got a bruised left knee. He should be back in the ballgame. Steve?
That'll be hard to hurt that guy. Sheldon at 6'3" and 265. Second down. Ford hit in the backfield. Tremendous penetration by Mitchell. Keith Mitchell waiting for Ford as he got the handoff practically.
When you've got Keith out there on your outside, one thing he does is he can take away the entire offensive package around the perimeter. That's what kind of speed he has. The pro scouts like him. He's a little bit undersized, but he will get out. He'll sack you. He likes to. His tackles for loss are right up there with Troop Jaspers there in the middle.
Elijah Perkins, number 29, is in at tailback for Baylor. And he has the pitch, and he's going to fire a pass. Incomplete. It was intended for Darius Thompson. Rich Cody was covering for A&M.
Whenever you run this halfback pass, one thing you count on is your receiver to get out there. You saw Darius Thompson there backing up, backpedaling, trying to catch this. You've got to just run. The ball's got to be thrown up there deep. If it's anything, it's got to be overthrown, and it just was not well executed.
The other Atterbury brother, Kyle, on to attempt a field goal. This one will be a 39-yard attempt. Garner Simpkins is the holder. And Atterbury drives it, but hooks it wide to the left. So with 1:42 left to go in the first half, the score remains 7-0, Baylor leading. And let's get a word on some upcoming program at A&M. Randy McCowan back in at quarterback. They'll go from the shotgun on 1st and 10. Ball was tipped and incomplete. It was intended for running back Mark Broyles, a sophomore out of Tyler, Texas, who was over the middle, but it was tipped and fell incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. The clock stopping with 1:36 left in the half.
That's exactly the adjustment you need. They're going up with the hurry-up offense, is to get that back there in your shotgun offense.
McCown under pressure again, incomplete. And let's check in again with Gary Reasons.
Steve, Chuck Reedy from Baylor is very disappointed in his kicking game. Actually, last week, Kyle Atterbury had a chance to kick 2 field goals, actually missed both and an extra point. With those points, they could have beaten Texas. And today, with a missed field goal, Chuck is very disappointed what's going on in his kicking game. Steve?
Kyle, the younger brother, a redshirt freshman of Ty Atterbury, the punter, who also kicks off. And it has been a little up and down for him, although he too has a good leg. You saw Albert Connell of A&M limping off, injured on that last play. And now McCowan looking for somebody and finding Leroy Hodge, who fumbles the football, but A&M is going to retain possession. Curtis Henderson made the hit on Hodge that knocked the ball loose. But A&M will retain possession thanks to Chris Ruman.
Offensive lineman getting down there and hustling. But there, take a look. He's sitting, he's right down and open, and he doesn't squeeze the ball. You've got to hold on to it there. And wisely and alert, Ruman gets down and covers it up.
Timeout to stop the clock with 1:13 left to go in the half.
You know, Steve, right now they're really in a bit of trouble right now, losing Connell like that.
Leckler will punt it to Baylor, and Khalif Muhammad, and Leckler booms another beauty. Boy, both of these guys can kick. Muhammad from the 13, slipping, sliding, and out to about the 34. I'll tell you what, he's something, the way he can move around. There's a trail of white shirts there, all trying to get a hold of him, and most of them running into each other. Dat Wynn made the stop, and limping off for A&M is Philip Myers, number 51, who may be shaken up as well. A 54-yard punt, but a 21-yard return by Muhammad. Dexter Ford straight ahead, tripped up and fall 5.
Again, we see the play action using the quarterback. Looked like he's dropping deep, but handing it off inside in the draw. What you're not seeing Baylor do is to give the defense a chance of a straight drop back pass.
40 seconds left in the half. Dexter Ford again slipping and falling and losing yardage back at about the 34, and the Baylor fans don't like it. Brandon Mitchell covered him there, but Baylor not pushing the ball up the field. And now Baylor calls a timeout with 26 seconds left in the half. They've already gotten 5 losses on the year. Alfred throwing over the middle and completing it. Bradley Domel, the tight end, brought down by Rich Cody. First down, stops the clock with 19 seconds to go. They mark it at the 49 of A&M, and Baylor will immediately get up as soon as the chains are set, snap the ball, and go again. And spiked into the ground to stop the clock again. Now with 17 seconds, Baylor is out of timeouts.
Well, this is where Mike Gundy can really shine there, the offensive coordinator. He's up in the booth making the play selection. He knows there's a certain script that you're going to go to with 17 seconds left on the clock. He had such a tremendous offensive career at Oklahoma State. He knows this place is going to call.
The pitch to Ford, trying to get outside. He gets away from Mitchell, but he's run out of bounds after a gain of about 1 yard. Larry Walker the second, we might add, busting him out of bounds, and a penalty flag goes down on the play. And I bet they're going to call Walker for a late hit, and that's marginal.
He's just playing a little too aggressive there. He's just sitting there in frustration. We're not doing well, and he's venting it a little bit, and not playing responsible, disciplined football that is so much a trademark of R.C. Slocum. You see he's shaking his head going, look, that's not who we are.
I think more this year than any of his previous seasons at A&M. 7-0 Baylor. 11 seconds to go. Alfred going down the far sideline. Incomplete. The pass intended for Morris Anderson. Shun Horn covering him for A&M, but he was out of bounds. Even if he had hauled that ball in, it would not have been a completion.
Now that play and the next play that you're going to see, if they're going to go for a pass, is going to be a play designed to draw the penalty for pass interference to get him closer to the end zone. But they're not. They're going to line up and they're going to try to bust it through the pipes again.
Yep, Kyle Atterbury on. Atterbury has not made a field goal from outside 40 yards, and this will be a 50-yard attempt. Atterbury is 0 for 3. He hit it pretty well. Is it in there? No. He just missed it wide right. He had enough leg, but he didn't get it in between the uprights, and time expires here in the first half. A frustrating half for Texas A&M and R.C. Slocum, but a very successful half for the Baylor Bears and Chuck Reedy as they lead it 7-0. Against Baylor's defense. Khalif Muhammad back deep, and the line drive goes off his shoulder into the end zone, and he'll down it for a touchback, and Baylor will start 1st and 10 at their own 20. And the first half was not only a surprise in some ways, but it was also, Brian, a game of field position.
Absolutely, created by the specialty teams and punters that were able to punch the ball so deeply down the field.
Here's what else is going on in the Big 12 today. On first down, Clifton Rubin, the fullback, for short yardage, maybe to the 22 is all. Wrapped up by Brandon Mitchell and Brad Crowley.
Clifton Rubin is usually used as a blocking back there. Blocking back, 6 foot, 223 pounds. He's strong, kid, but he ends up making a lot of mistakes. But let's take a look at those halftime statistics there. The first downs, look at that. Texas A&M only 6 first downs to 8 of Baylor.
And 5 of those came in the first quarter. 2nd down and 8. And Dexter Ford dropped for a loss in the backfield by Philip Myers, who had an injury in the first half, but it hasn't kept him out of there in the second half.
And then again, look at the time of possession. It's really about split. The total offense in yards about split, but really the story is the first down. We had trouble with turnovers, but Texas A&M, I'd have never thought you'd hear them getting only 1 yard in a quarter and 1 first down, as Steve mentioned just a few moments ago.
Khalif Muhammad of Baylor just limped off of the field. So he's out of the lineup on 3rd and 14 for the Bears. And a delay to Dexter Ford will go nowhere. Again, it's Mitchell and Myers with help from Dat Wynn on the stop. So Baylor's first offensive possession of the second half goes backwards as they will punt it away from deep in their own territory, and maybe A&M will start to enjoy some field position. Ty Atterbury on the punt, and Dante Hall dropping back at his own 35. A short kick. Hall with a fair catch at the A&M 48. So the Aggies will start with good field position. A 37-yard punt with no return. 13:05 to go in the third. Still 7-0 Baylor. Stewart back into the game at quarterback for A&M. Only 3 of 11 passing in the first half. Not all those were his fault, though, as he did have some drops. And he's going to pass here, completing it to Tiki Hardeman out of the backfield, and he's run out of bounds by George McCullough. And he picks up enough for a first down near the 40 of Baylor.
That's the first time we've called Tiki's name there, but He goes out there in the flat. He's a real sure-handed running back. They just like to use him. They have tremendous amount of confidence in him. That's a name I expected to be calling a lot more this second half.
He runs at either the up back or the tailback. Baylor showing blitz, but now backing off, and they're coming. Bernard getting outside, cutting back beautifully. Inside the 20, touchdown A&M.
That was big Steve McKinney, number 72, pulling out there on the counter play. They will use a backside tight end, or they'll use their running back to cut that off. He was able to turn around the corner there and free Bernard loose to streak down that right sideline.
A 40-yard run for Eric Bernard, a sophomore from Tulsa, Oklahoma, for A&M's first score of the day, and an opportunity to tie the game now as Kyle Bryant is on. He's made 31 of 32 extra points this year. And he hooked it badly and missed it. Baylor still leads by 1, 7-6, but a 40-yard run by Bernard has brought A&M back in the game. Right there, Kyle Bryant hooked the extra point, so Baylor still leading by 1. Muhammad from the 5 to the 27. He went off the field limping, but he's running pretty good there. Chris Theory, number 58, tripped him up.
Boy, it looked like he had a little bit crease there up in the inside, getting some good blocking from some of his special team comrades there, and he just couldn't get that quite cracking.
A&M didn't score the whole first half, then they score in 16 seconds.
And how do they score? Running the football.
Yeah.
And let's take another look at the touchdown there. Right over the left side, the sweep there. You see big number 76 out front there blocking on that counter play.
Alfred completing the play action pass to the fullback, Sean Washington, and Dat Wynn shoves him out of bounds, but it's a Baylor first down up to the 42. A gain of 15.
Sean Washington played also tight end and linebacker. He's a solid football player. He's always going to get positive yards when he catches the ball. He runs hard, real hard. Knows what it's like playing on that other side. Started as a linebacker.
Dat Wynn leading that A&M defense. One of very few Vietnamese players in college football. Clifton Rubin in at fullback for Baylor now. Perkins on first down. Across the 45 in the grasp of Brandon Mitchell. It'll be second down and about 5 to go.
Must be something for a young freshman like that to come into a game like this and realize early in the week with Gerard Douglas injured and Dexter Ford getting the call, he knew that at some point he was going to be getting the ball today. So many of these players play in high school together. This is crosstown rivalry. You just wonder, you know, all of a sudden it's their call and it's their time to show up. And it's part of that enthusiasm, I think, that's really shown up on part of Baylor today in the way they've been able to execute a much different offensive strategy now in the hands of Mike Gundy.
And it's working. A&M's Warwick Holdman went off with an injury. That was the reason for the timeout. 2nd and 5, Baylor. Perkins again. And he's grabbed from behind by Rich Cody, who just sort of got him around the waist and tried to lift him off the ground, but held on. There's a little hot air balloon, and boy, this is a perfect day for that.
Have you ever been up in one of those?
One time.
I did.
One time. You like it?
No.
You didn't like it?
No, I didn't like it.
Hey, you're already so far off the ground, why would it bother you? You can't be afraid of heights.
That basket isn't very big at all.
Well, it depends on the kind of balloon you go. But I don't think you and I ought to try it together.
That's right.
We have to get 2 balloons. 3rd and 3. Complete. Morris Anderson for the first down. Donovan Greer with the tackle. Good protection that time for Alfred, who waited for his receiver to come open.
There's weight in the pocket there, able to zip it, but what you didn't see is the tremendous amount of blocking there that goes on. Running back come out of the backfield, and there's going to be a blitz. He's got to take him low, cut his legs out from under him. He did. That allowed Morris Anderson to come up with that That great grab right there in that out pattern.
Anderson, a sophomore from nearby Tyler, Texas. The ball at the 41. First down Baylor. They lead it 7-6 with 10:46 to go in the third. Alfred under pressure gets it away. Incomplete. Intended for Darius Thompson, and Donovan Greer put the big hit on him.
Greer coming out of there, out of the backfield, coming off that corner real hard. Whenever you get a quarterback spilling in front of your face, he had a choice there to go for the blocking the pass or go for the hit. He went for the Captain Crunch on that one.
Keith Mitchell was pressuring Alfred, and Alfred just did get it away as Mitchell was in his face. Second and 10. Sean Washington back into the game at fullback for Baylor. Play action. Alfred stepping up and completing it, and a good job by Morris Anderson to come back for the ball. The gain will be short, however, to the 36. Shun Horn had the coverage for the Aggies. Next Saturday, it starts at 11 Central, 3rd and 5. And time called now, as Alfred didn't like something, and Baylor uses their first time out of the second half. 9:49 to go in the third. Third down and 5. Complete to Muhammad, first down. And Khalif Muhammad down to the 21 of A&M before Donovan Greer bumps him out of bounds. Another big third down play. And let's go down to Gary Reasons.
Well, Steve, you know, there's a lot of tradition in college football, and they started one here at Baylor with these freshmen. They call them the Baylor line. These guys are really fun here. They come out here every game, and they're strong. There's like a couple thousand of them. They actually go around the field before the game and bring the team on the field. This is the Baylor line. It's a great tradition here.
And they dress nicely, too, don't they? I like the face painting in particular. Well, with that catch by Khalif Muhammad, he moved. Whoop, penalty. They're going to replay the down. And that flag must have been away from the play.
You know, we've seen so many big plays called back by the flag today.
Well, a 53-yarder was wiped out in the first half. Albert Connell of A&M catching a ball and taking it down inside the 10, and that wiped that one out. This is illegal motion against Baylor, and it's going to move it back to the 49 of the Baylor Bears, where it's now going to be 3rd and 20.
What Baylor will do, and that offensive set, you will see in the backfield, they'll move around their running backs just before the snap of the ball, and sometimes it looks as if they're offsides.
That time it was actually offensive pass interference was the call. From the backside, Alfred never saw him coming as Keith Mitchell beat the fullback Sean Washington and sacks Alfred back inside the 45 at the 41.
Sean Washington got over there, but he just cannot adjust to the kind of speed coming off that corner with Mitchell. There you see Alfred. He's dropped back there. There's just no time. Mitchell is just coming too fast. That is a play design. It was appropriately blocked, but that's when talent defeats scheme.
Ty Atterbury on to punt. Dante Hall back for A&M inside his 20. And another boomer. And Hall lets it bounce. And it's down inside the 5 by Baylor. A&M did it in the first half, and now Baylor does it in the second half with excellent kick coverage. Matt Anderson and Nakia Cody down there, a 56-yard punt that's going to be downed at about the 3 or 5. Here goes Bernard running hard out near the 10. Dragged down by Jason Jackson.
Bernard has not seen this kind of action since early in BYU, but he's showing up today, getting out there, adjusting, making moves. Look at that.
Aggies have been a great second half team, especially in the third quarter. They They've had some problems in the fourth quarter that have cost them some games, and so has Baylor for that matter. It's 2nd down and 4. Fumble, but retaining possession.
Fumble on the play recovered by A&M.
You know, back in 1981 when I played with the New England Patriots, we went 2-14 and we struggled with turnovers and broken plays, and sometimes you feel like you're snake bit just because everything just seems to be happening and happening wrong. And we're seeing right there Tiki come out of the backfield there. He almost loses that ball. Great concentration for him to come back to him like that.
Nakia Cody had it in his hands and it went back into Hardiman's hands. Stewart, nobody to throw to, and he's hauled down at the 11 or 12. Jason Jackson and Glenn McCoy making the stop. A tackle for a loss. It's going to bring up 3rd and long.
Jason Jackson, your classic overachiever. He plays hard. Last year he didn't see much playing time. He played behind LaCurtis Jones, but he's shown up today and he's got great speed coming off that corner.
I said 3rd and long. It's actually 2nd and long. 2nd and 13. Bernard tried to spin off the pile, but the pile didn't go away. Too many green shirts, as he'll just gain a couple of yards. Derek Fletcher, the nose tackle, number 99, leading that charge. 200, actually.
Yeah, 300.
360 pounds.
Sophomore.
Just a young fellow from Aldine.
Yeah. Playing
6'6", 360.
Yeah. He's big. He's a quiet guy, but I'll tell you, if you see him, it's just one of those sights where you go, this may be the biggest human you've ever seen in his life. He is. He's huge. And he's nursing a bad ankle, and when you have that kind of weight on that kind of ankle, you can't move the way you need to.
3rd and 11, and whistle stop play. A&M has not converted a 3rd down today. They're 0 for 8. And they may have taken too much time, as the play clock was darn close to expiring, and may have before they got it off.
Dead ball foul. Illegal substitution. 5 yards against the offense. Repeat the down.
Somebody came in illegally or too late. R.C. Slocum trying to figure out what it was, because he doesn't think the call was correct, obviously. But how many times this year has A&M done this to themselves? 3rd and 11, now it's 3rd and 16, back at the 9.
And this frustration is all throughout the alumni. In the hotel last night, that's all they spoke about. Will our team finally show up? Will they play hard? They've got to do it. The frustration level is felt.
Stewart changing the play, apparently. Quick drop, pressure. Throwing long, and a great catch. Dante Hawkins.
But tremendous poise. You see Stewart hanging in there, getting outside the pocket. It looked like he was going to flush quickly, but he hung on. He kept his sights on Dante Hawkins, the sophomore, streaking down the sideline. He's got great speed.
He also has pretty good hands to haul that baby in.
And great concentration, too.
A 56-yard pass play on 3rd down and 16. A&M's first 3rd down conversion of the day is a huge one. And the Aggies have a 1st down at the 46 of Baylor. Tiki Hardiman banging for a couple down to the 44. Let's go back and take a look at that bomb on 3rd and 16.
Now right here you see him looking completely on the other side of the field, and then he launches it just before he gets absolutely plastered, and for a diving catch, Hawkins with a much needed grab.
Robert Neal was right there for Baylor, but there was nothing he could do about it. And now Sir Parker is in at tailback for A&M. We have not seen much of Parker today. He has the ball and a block. Down to the 39, where it's going to be 3rd and about 3. George McCullough coming up from the secondary to cut him down. Parker, a sophomore out of Los Angeles, came into the game averaging a little under 5 yards a carry. Eric Bernard has gotten most of the duty. 3rd and 3.
He's that kind of spark out of the backfield that you want to get into open space as quickly as possible.
Baylor showing blitz, and they come early. Looked like Baylor came early unless they were drawn off sides by movement of the A&M offense.
Sometimes you'll get up there and you'll go, okay, guys, it's going to use the hard count. We're going to pull them off sides when they know a blitz package is coming in.
We did not have offsides on the play. Therefore, when the quarterback accepted the ball in possession with his knee down, that constitutes a play. We have 4th down.
Now, wait a minute. If Baylor is not across the line on this play, the ball is snapped. Now, you can't, on the far side, it looked like somebody was off, but the officials are right in the fact that Stewart took a knee. So apparently Baylor was not offsides before Stewart took the knee. So it's 4th down. They're going for it, and they don't get it. Stewart's pass intended for Albert Connell, too tall, and Justin Snow of Baylor was all over Stewart as he tried to get that ball away.
That's the exact moment where I would have used a timeout just to slow things down a little bit and regroup instead of get out there. He looked like now he's frustrated, and with the way he's playing, he seems like a player you need to slow down as much as you can so he can re-get his poise.
.428 to go in the 3rd quarter. Baylor leading by 1 point, 7-6, goes back on offense at their own 40. Perkins for a couple, and that's about it. Hey, tomorrow night on ABC,
it could cost us big plays.
1st down, 22 yards to go. Alfred trying to set up a screen, but the ball incomplete, intended for Elijah Perkins. Phil Myers covering for A&M. Phillip was in there.
That play looked like a broken play. And again, in terms of technique and strategy, you see the quarterback rolling to the side of his receivers. When you have a defensive front that moves so well and is so fast up there, it's always important to be rolling and pulling that defense away from you.
It also negates some of that penetration that A&M's been able to get.
Well, again, A&M will get in there, but you just haven't seen Alfred back there going back in a 5-step drop where they could drop beat on you early.
You're not doing it. And wisely so. 2nd and 22. Perkins squirting through a little hole out to the 32. Dat Win on the stop.
When I met with Phil Bennett at A&M, he said that young man is something special. You look at him on film, you know, at 6'1", 210 pounds, the numbers don't add up. Now you see he looks like he's having a little problem on the sideline, and he is one of the toughest men on that defense. He's not particularly fast, not particularly strong, but he has a sixth sense, an ability to be able to seem to know where the ball is going, which has allowed him to be such a tremendous leading tackler for this team.
He has great instinct, they say, and not only that, his lateral movement, his ability to go sideline to sideline, even though he's not real fast, is key to him being such a good linebacker. 3rd down, 17 yards to go. Baylor from their own 33. Alfred steps up, incomplete, and almost picked off. Let's check in with John Saunders for an update. John. Atterbury on to punt. Dante Hall back for A&M. Another high hanger. Hall taking it at the 33 and trying to get around the corner. He does. And he just runs out of real estate at the 35. It's a 39-yard punt with a 7-yard return, and A&M will have a whole lot better field position than they did their last possession. Let's check in again on the sidelines with Gary Reason.
Steve, as A&M's offense came off the field after the last series, obviously they went for it on 4th down. All the players just walked very methodically off the field, came and sat down on the bench with their heads down, and they really can't figure out what's going on. I wonder how much really got taken out of their sails on that 4th down. And Brian, I thought brought up a great point is when you got 4th and short, why not take the timeout in a critical situation?
That's a good point. You're right. It was an excellent point, Brian, and something that maybe they won't do the next time. Bernard only getting a couple. Jason Jackson fill in the hole.
Again, I am feeling a little bit concerned over the play selection and call. I don't really understand what I'm seeing here in terms of progression, in terms of scheme, in terms of getting their talented players outside in space where they can run.
Mess with the quarterback.
The A&M offense, or the Baylor offensive line,
we are not
having a meeting, getting ready for their next trip between the lines. Stewart getting outside. He's going to keep it. And running out of bounds near midfield. They'll mark it at the 49. Nakia Cody ran him out. It's an 11-yard run and a first down for A&M. Well, earlier in the game, Brian, in the first half, A&M tried to throw the ball, pushing it up the field, which really isn't their game. They didn't come out and pound the ball with their running backs like we thought they were going to. Then, here in the third quarter, when they scored the touchdown, they were using the running game. They were pounding that ball. And they're going back to the run here. Heck of a job by Eric Bernard to follow his blockers. The Cameron Spikes, number 73, made a fine block to get Bernard downfield in the first place.
Well, they pull on the backside in that counter play, and he's led by big number 62, Samisi Haimuli, and he's out there at 300 pounds blocking. They love this play, and Spikes out there, tremendous block.
And another penalty against Baylor.
And that's a highlight film block.
That penalty be tacked on to the run as there was some extracurricular activity at the end of the play. Bernard now is over 100 yards rushing. He's carried 17 times for 103 yards, and he has A&M's touchdown.
Now that's more of A&M that they know. And you know, as a player, when you get back into the normal play selection, Steve, that you're uncomfortable with, you feel your rhythm being established again.
And they're doing their thing. Here goes Bernard on the counter again. Bumped out of bounds at about the 16.
Eric Bernard.
Curtis Henderson, the safety, ran him out.
Nothing more than the traditional counter. They've ran it so many times, but the players know the block so well. Now let's take a look at your big man there. You see Spikes coming around the corner there, and you can't see him in the screen, but he goes and he trips up to create that running lane, that alley that breaks. And now off this play, you have a quarterback bootleg the other way, and let's see if we see that on this drive.
Straight up the middle, Tiki Hardeman inside the 10. Curtis Henderson again on the stop, and it's a 1st and goal for A&M as they have pounded the ball on this drive. And if we may be experiencing some audio difficulties, we apologize. We're working on it. Baylor inside the red zone, the Baylor defense, their numbers there. The ball at the 7, 1st and goal. Mark Broyles in at fullback. Hardeman banging in there out of the tailback spot down to about the 3. So they put the big backs in. And that goal line offense.
Big back Mark Broyles, 5'11", 242 pounds, looks more like 252. Came through there, and he's going to give you a big wallop there.
Then you got Hardeman behind him at 230. So they got some weight coming through there. 2nd and goal from the 3. Hardeman again, cutting it back, touchdown.
Again, the offensive line creating the stretch, and when you do that, the seams open up. That's when you get these backs who have such tremendous bursts, recognize the hole, and turn your horses loose.
A&M has the horses, and Hardeman One of their power runners takes it in, and for the first time today, A&M has the lead.
See the stretch that's created there? That opens up the backside seams, and now that this has been established, we are going to see a lot more of this game, and now they're going for 2.
Having missed the extra point on their first touchdown, they will go for 2. Stewart looking for the fade in the end zone for Connell. Yes, he had a foot in bounds, says the official, and McCullough can't believe it.
I mean, that was a great matchup there. George McCullough, he's their most experienced senior guy back there. He's the one who can cover and protect. He's been against and seen that fade many times, but Connell with tremendous concentration on a ball that's all timing, all thrown in practice, is able to turn around and go for that high grab, just getting a feet in there. Take a look. Look at the protection. See, that ball, you're able to get that ball off in under 1.5 seconds. He turned at the right time. McCullough is right there. It's just great grab.
All he needs is to have a toe in bounds with possession. Does he get it? Yes, he does. A whole foot. And the official made a good call.
And, you know, right there at the last moment, it almost looked like Connell didn't have that ball into his body, but they call it a touch.
You know, one of the toughest things about making a call like that for an official is you've got to watch where the foot is.
Yeah.
And how do you see that and look at the possession at the same time? You got to figure out the guy made the catch and he had a foot in bounds. You almost have to give it to him.
Well, that's why they got 2 eyes, Steve.
One on the foot, one on the hand.
Okay. I know a few referees that only had 1 good eye. It looked like we're trouble out there.
Yes, I'm sure that many have been discussed in that fashion.
Yeah.
Kyle Bryant will kick it off. A&M with a 65-yard drive culminating in Hardeman's touchdown, and Khalif Muhammad, shaken up but still in the game, is back to receive for Baylor. 1:45 to go in the third. 14-7 A&M. Ball taken by one of the up men, Mark Cogdill. Toya Jones made the stop. And Baylor will go from their own 26.
Looked like on that kick it was a deliberate high boot away from Khalif back there. Being able to just try to dump it in there. At this time, you don't want to get the fella back there get his hands on the ball, because he can take that ball 100 yards down the field.
Our ABC Sports Board keeping you up to date on everything that's happening and has happened in college football. Colorado and Iowa State, some kind of shootout. Burkins skipping ahead for 6 or 7 yards before he's tripped up by Rich Cody. Elijah, what a great name for a guy to go to a Baptist university.
Give you a great story about that young man. He had an impressive preseason, but really didn't get into the swing of the things. And against Iowa State, he had 21 carries for 142 yards.
He carries again here to the 36. He's still going to be a yard short of the first down, however. Trent Driver on the stop, and let's get another report from the sidelines and Gary Reasons. Gary.
Well, Steve, for Texas A&M, when they go for that play on 2, they're going to go to their outside man, Albert Cannell. Actually, his nickname is Sky because he has such a tremendous vertical leap, and that's what set up that play. Whenever you got a receiver that can jump 39 to 40 inches on his vertical leap, that's the play to call, isn't it, Brian?
That is my play. I like it, particularly because you throw it up high. If he doesn't catch it, it usually goes out of bounds.
Yeah, and there's not too many corners that are going to be able to go up with him. Alfred taking the quarterback sneak straight ahead for the first down for Baylor as they punch it out to about the 40. It'll be just short of the 40-yard line. 1st and 10 Bears. 29 seconds left to go in the third quarter. And A&M, after trailing 7-0, has come back here in the third quarter to lead 14-7.
What you're seeing is that confident style of football that Gundy wants to really instill in the minds of his players. Here he had such a distance to go. That offensive line just surged off the ball to get that first down.
Play action. And complete. Khalif Muhammad at the 47. It'll be a gain of about 7. Philip Myers on the defensive play. And now Muhammad has moved into 3rd place on the all-time receiving list. That's his 93rd career catch. Here's a guy that's going to have 1,000 yards rushing and receiving. He's just a few yards short rushing, so they may give him the ball on an end around or something to try to get those rushing yards. Clifton Rubin now in at fullback. And Rubin fumbles the football, but Baylor's going to retain possession. Falling on the ball is Jerome Jackson. And so Baylor will not lose it. That's the end of the third quarter, however. And we'll be back. It's 7-0. They trail now by 7. Alford on the option. Hauled down a yard or two short of the first down by Philip Myers.
That's the first time this game that we've seen that. He enjoys and likes to run that play so well. Again, when you do that, Mike Gundy, I know exactly what he's doing. It opens up another offensive package that we're going to see him utilize in this fourth quarter.
4th down and about 2, so Atterbury on to punt for Baylor. The nation's leading punter to kick it away to Dante Hall at the 10. And it's another beauty. Hall coming up, taking a fair catch at the 16. And that's where A&M will start again, getting the short end of the field position, but leading by 7 when we come back. A&M, and Hall has the ball, busting through a hole and picking up enough for a first down out near the 30. Jason Jackson, who's made a lot of tackles for Baylor today, on the stop.
Calvin Collins up there in the middle, and Steve McKinney opening up the hole there for Dante Hall to burst through there. There's that offensive line, opening up some holes inside.
From the 29. Ball again. Slicing outside for another first down, and up near midfield before he's dragged down. Derek Fletcher, the nose guard, number 99, and nose tackle, running all the way across to get him at a gain of 19.
That's the kind of offensive firepower they have coming out of the backfield. And you can take a look at Dante Hall. When he gets the ball, there'll be people all around him, and he is so powerful. He's just dragging people there and stripping their arms like toothpicks, and it takes a big man coming down there, 360 pounds.
He's only 5'9", but he weighs 180 power-packed pounds, and he's down inside the 45 of Baylor before Dwight Johnson makes the stop for the Bears.
At so many other Division I schools, that young man right there would be getting the ball 30 times a game. He has that level of skill. Take a look at Hall already. 7 rushes for 58 yards, 8.3. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see high numbers. Last week he averaged 10.3 yards per carry.
He's got it again.
Right behind all his big guys, and there in the third quarter. Now we see the shift. There A&M. You see right in the middle of your screen, 132 yards rushing on the ground. They picked it up a little bit on their passing. Total yards, they're out front, 252 yards. Time of possession, they're still under time of possession in terms of Baylor. First downs, now they're up to 12 first downs versus Baylor's 11.
Mark Broyles in at fullback. But it's Hall again. This time he only picks up 2 or 3. Dean Jackson on the stop, along with the big Derek Fletcher, 360 pounds in the middle.
Dean Jackson came to school and met as a young, kind of overweight, heavy kid, found the weight room and kept focusing. And there was a story that I read about him sitting there waiting and wanting to go home his freshman year with a headache that lasted 3 weeks.
Stewart stepping up and firing long and over the middle for Connell, incomplete.
And it was there.
Albert had it on the fingertips. George McCullough had the coverage, but Connell was out in front of him and just couldn't hold on. It's going to be 3rd and 9.
And, you know, it's a play they've worked on so much. You see him there with the step. Now he's looking for that burst, that other gear. But I'm telling you, what's slowing him down, he's either got that problem that he's nursing in his right ankle, and along with that, whenever you get ankle problems, you'll end up getting groin and hip problems too. He's just one stride off from full speed.
Dante Hall has some big blockers up front, and he's got the first down. Down to the 26.
Coming back with that same counter there.
Cameron Spikes leading the way, and Justin Snow making the tackle.
That play is set up. You see your big man out front there pulling around. Haimuli out there gets his block in 73. Take a look at him. He is just a great runner. Cameron Spikes runs really well downfield for a big man and stays on his block. Running back gets a break, but the lineman, you got to get back in the huddle and play again.
Almost a missed connection. Bernard, the ball carrier, and he's slammed down by McCullough.
Looked like he kind of fumbled the ball a little bit. He didn't quite have a handle on it coming out of the backfield.
What happens sometimes to a running back, too, when he does that is he takes his eyes off of where he's running and looks down at the ball, and he'll miss the hole or he'll miss an opportunity to make a defender miss. But how about Cameron Spikes at 3:05 running down there in front of Dante Hall? Tiki Hardiman now into the game at the up back position. Bernard trying to find somewhere to go and only gets a couple down near the 20. Stopped by Derek Fletcher. Hey, if time permits, we invite you to stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report. Scores and highlights from all across the country. If time permits, we'll have the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report for you.
We see Dwight Johnson there, number 82, shaking up a little bit, comes to the sideline.
Fletcher came off too. Derek Fletcher. Third down, 5 yards to go. A&M at the Baylor 21. Bernard dropped for a loss. Baylor with tremendous penetration had 3 green shirts across the line of scrimmage, led by George McCullough, Dean Jackson, and I think Henderson might have been in there. The loss is back to the 23. So A&M will attempt a field goal. See the comparison between Bernard and Hall, who have done most of the ball packing duties for A&M. This is going to be a 40-yard attempt by Kyle Bryant, who missed barely a 50-yarder earlier. And he knocks this baby right through there. 9:51 to go in the game. A&M coming from behind extends their lead now to 17-7. A&M with a 40-yard field goal by Kyle Bryant to extend their lead to 10 points here in the fourth as Bryant kicks it off. And Khalif Muhammad will have a chance from the 17. Out to about the 25 before he runs into a bunch of folks, led by Trent Driver. So Baylor now is going to have to get their offense going again, Brian, as they were moving the ball fairly well earlier in the ball game, but they have not been able to get anything going here in the second half as far as a long touchdown drive is concerned.
I expect what we saw when they ran the option just before the change of possession. We're going to start seeing the package that they'll use out of that option.
Elijah Birkin's in at tailback with Sean Washington at fullback, and they're in the I formation. Play action pass on first down. Khalif Muhammad with a reception just short of the 30 as he's dragged out of bounds by Sean Horn. And let's check in again with Gary Reasons.
Well, Steve, this is a great rivalry between A&M and Baylor, and actually prior to the 1960s when A&M was an all-male school, it's quite common for their male cadets to actually travel up the road here to Baylor to find, you know what, girlfriends. And there's mixed marriages going on. Actually, Brian talked about the people at the hotel, the A&M fans. A lot of those have Baylor gals and A&M cadets as marriages. Kind of a mixed emotion in this ballgame. Steve?
Divide those families on a game like today, huh? What a grab for a first down by Darius Thomas. Thompson with going up high to haul it down at about the 42 for a first down.
Split out there wide. They've used the play action pass so well to set this up. Now Darius finds the sweet spot. He holds on and comes back to a ball that was thrown just a little bit high, goes for the stretch, and you've got to count on your receivers to come up with plays like that with this offense. You know, sometimes you're going to get a ball that's just thrown in a bad spot.
Yep, the great adjustment by Thompson and a first down at the 42. Alford under pressure. He's going to go down at the 35. And there's Keith Mitchell. Donovan Greer also coming from the other corner as they put pressure on him and got him at the 35.
It's Donovan Greer coming out there. You know, you talk to all the quarterbacks, and whenever they talk about protection, they said, if you have a choice between a defensive lineman, a 290-pounder coming after me, or a blitzing defensive back coming through the gap, they always said, take the defensive back, because they can come and just stone you.
Second down, 17. Pressure again. Alfred gets away, and it's complete on the far sideline to Morris Anderson. Donovan Greer over there to cover him. Well short of the first down, however, as they mark it just outside the Baylor 46. Baylor needs to get to the A&M 47 for the first down. It's going to be third. Anderson going off, asking for relief. And you see Notre Dame and Boston College tied at 21.
Well, that's a surprise.
Earlier, Boston College was leading that game. 7.5 minutes to go in the game. Third down, and Alfred's going down again. A&M came with the pressure, and it worked, and they were led by the big man in the middle, Troop Jasper, out of the nose guard. Philip Myers coming. Dat went in there. And Phil Bennett brought the boys, and they got there.
I spoke with Phil this week and sat in his office, and as we talked about this week's game plan, you could see his motor running inside about what he needed to do, how his defense needed to play. They're going to show up and blitz and run and be aggressive.
Ty Atterbury, who's done a great job punting today. Hitting it to Dante Hall, who's going to let it roll, and that's probably not a good decision. And Baylor's going to down it again inside the 5. Dante Hall should have come up and caught that ball, and Matt Anderson was down there to make the play. McCullough downing it just outside the 1, a 64-yard punt. That kicking game does it again. 6:38 to go. We'll be back. Step inside their 2, but they do have a 10-point lead midway through the fourth quarter. They've got the big boys in there, Hardiman and Broyles in the backfield behind Stewart to try to bang it out of there, and Tiki Hardiman gets to the 5. Let's go down to Gary Reasons. Gary.
Well, Steve, one of the stars here for Baylor is actually their punter, Ty Atterbury. He's having a sensational day. And actually, our friends over at ESPN elected him to be their punter on their special team All-America team. Ty is one of those great players. Actually, he is a complete weapon for Chuck Reed in this Baylor team because of his kickoff duties as well as what he's doing in the punting game. Steve?
Thanks, Gary. Boy, he does have some kind of leg. And here's the play. Matt Anderson to keep it out of the end zone, and George McCullough to down it. Second down 4. Tiki Hardiman, first down, and he's off to the races.
Goodbye.
There's nobody in front of Hardiman. He will go all the way. A 95-yard touchdown run for Hardiman and A&M.
That's what this team does. Mike Sherman, the offensive line coach, I can tell you before this drive, got all his linemen together, create the blocks, sustain them. We're wearing them down a little bit. We've got the people to turn them loose. You get a gash there, we can crease this defense, and we're going to get them. Just keep working at it. We're going to find the crack. Be patient with it. And wow.
The other thing that happens is the defense gets 9 guys up in the box to stop the run, and as soon as you break in the secondary, you can go a long way. Kyle Bryant on to attempt the extra point. It is perfect. And with 5:53 left in the game, A&M has taken over 24-7.
And take a look at Jackson right in the middle of your screen. He comes for the blitz, and he gets stumbled there by great blocking. You see the left side there, creating the push there. Steve McKinley staying his block. Chris Ruhlman opening it up, and nothing but acceleration.
Tiki Hardiman with the longest run in A&M history, a 95-yarder, surpassing Bubba Bean's 94-yard run against Texas Tech back in 1975.
They did a brilliant job. There was a blitz coming. The backside people had to make the correct blitz call. They changed their assignment just before the snap of the ball, and you just need to get a nick. And that's what they did. Created the stumble and got the backside cut off.
A high, short kick and taken out of bounds. So the penalty flag goes down, and A&M will more than likely start at the 35. Or Baylor, rather, at the 35. Perkins taking that ball out of bounds. And we'll hear from Tom Allers, the referee.
We have a free kick infraction on the kicking team. The ball will be put in place on the 35-yard line. His foot was on the out of bounds when he caught it. Therefore, the ball is out of bounds.
It certainly looked like he caught the ball out of bounds. Hey, a reminder, this Monday night on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, Detroit and the Chargers from San Diego. That's at 8 o'clock Central Time, right here on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. Baylor first down from the 35. Alfred going back to the air, and it's knocked down. Looked like Brandon Mitchell got a hand up on it and knocked it to the turf. It'll be 2nd and 10. 5:49 left to play in the game.
In that rollout over there, you look for that running lanes and create those vision corridors. But you can't do it when you got big old Mitchell over there, 6'4", 285 pounds. He's able to punch it out of the sky. Pro scouts really like him. Tremendous acceleration and movement for a guy his size.
Alfred with a quick out, incomplete. Intended for Darius Thompson. And Donovan Greer, who's tough on the corner. Really the only upperclassman that A&M has in the secondary is Greer. The rest of the guys are kids back there.
You know, he's got 30 career starts. He has more starts than all the defensive backs combined back there.
Now, he's the leader. You'd think they'd pick on somebody else. It's 3rd and 10.
They're too busy worrying about Keith Mitchell and the problem he causes.
That's true. They want to stay away from his side. You got Mitchell over here rushing and Greer over there covering. The blitz is on, and they got him again. A&M coming through, led by Larry Walker and Jimmy Irby, to drop Alfred back at about the 26 or 7.
I mean, he just burst through there and just showed up on the scene, coming out from nowhere. He's got such acceleration in the hole. I'll tell you, when I played against Chicago Bears, Wilbur Marshall used to come through gaps like that. Man. What a headache he was. Mike Singletary did too.
Atterbury to punt again on 4th and 19. Dante Hall waiting, and he'll have to go back again. This time he does field it inside the 15. Dante finds a seam and gets out to about the 34. Much better field position here as Dean Jackson and Kenyatta Parker make the stop on special teams, but Atterbury booms another one.
Atterbury and Hall. That's almost like a heavyweight fight, the two of them there. You sit back in anticipation for this tremendous kick, and as soon as the ball is delivered to Hall, anytime, this is a young man, I can tell you, that can break it anytime he touches the football. What a great contest.
Sir Parker into the game at tailback now. Dante Hall, you see over on the sideline behind R.C. Slocum. And A&M just runs out somebody to handle a series, and this time it's Sir Parker who's going to do the ball packing, and he gets outside. Parker with a first down, still going, finally dragged down at about the 48. Great second effort by Parker, who really does a good job of keeping his feet underneath him.
And he's not afraid to put his shoulder down and run into you there. You know, he'll take on those defensive backs.
Yep, and he's not really that big. He weighs 185. But it's interesting, each of these 4 A&M backs that we've seen and talked about are a little bit different. They each bring a little something different to the game, and A&M is using them individually, series by series here in the second half.
What's so great is you can have the same block and the two backs will see two different things.
First down. Parker again looking for a hole. Derek Fletcher grabbed a hold of him and brought him down after a short game.
And what you can't emphasize enough is Dante Hall's a true freshman. Parker's a sophomore. Both so young and getting so much experience.
A&M trying to keep their bowl hopes alive as they have come behind, trailing 7-0 early in the game, 7-6, and then now leading 24-7. 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go as they try to eat up the clock here in the fourth quarter. Sir Parker again. This time he's got the first down as he's inside the Baylor 40 before he's dragged down by Rodney Atmore. And let's again go down to Gary Reasons.
Steve, you talked about the bowl picture, and actually for Chuck Reedy and Baylor, I tell you, they need to win another ball game. They need to have 6 wins in this season. They need to be 6-5 to possibly go to a bowl. But however, with Texas A&M, they had the extra game, the kickoff classic at the beginning of the year. They need to win 7 games, so they need to win out the rest of the season. This game against Baylor, as they're doing today, and the next 2 to possibly even go to a bowl game. So it's very important for both teams. You know, a win for A&M here would keep them alive, and Baylor still has a shot as well. Steve?
Thank you, Gary. Baylor's shot would be extremely an outside and long shot if they would lose this ball game, but A&M has to play Oklahoma next week and then Texas. Michael Williams in at fullback, but it's Sir Parker again, and Parker inside the 35 as the clock continues to run. Matt Anderson up from the secondary to make the tackle for Baylor. 2 minutes 50 seconds remaining in the game.
And again, Cameron Spikes there, the offensive tackle. I mean, he's all over downfield. Tremendous size and mobility. He's the school record for squats at 600 pounds. Bench press is 400 pounds. Samisi Aimuli was out there pulling on that counter play. He runs so well, and he just engulfs the corner.
Well, I think the big difference, Brian, is that earlier in the game, A&M wasn't doing their thing.
That's
now
right.
In the second half, they've been doing their thing, and it's been working.
They made some vital adjustments at halftime, obviously. The question is, why did they show up in that in the first quarter? Maybe there's something that we just don't pick up. They saw that just didn't work.
Stewart taking a lot of time and finally gives the ball to Parker. Parker's got blockers again. He's knocked down at the 32. Coming up quickly was Don Arroyo along with Justin Snow. Hey, tomorrow on ABC Sports, we'll bring you the final round of the Lincoln Mercury Kapalua International. Got separating each position through the first 5. Third down. Sir Parker again. Trying to get to the first down. He will. Breaking tackles and inside the 20. Down to about the 17. Nakia Cody, the free safety, finally got him down.
Completely on a dime, changes directions and burst out the other way. And if Nakia wasn't paying attention and being sharp over there, he would have been in the end zone.
Looked like they had him stopped short of the first down, but second effort by Parker picked it up. A&M ranked in the top 20 in rushing in the nation. They came in averaging 230 yards per game. They've rushed for 340 so far today. We're in the final minute of play. Parker again finds a hole down to about the 12 for a gain of near 5 yards. Justin Snow, number 83, got him around the ankles.
So much good blocking going on there. It's not just the great talent. They've got it too. But you know what? They spend a lot of time thinking about extra effort, getting downfield, sustaining blocks. Having 340 yards rushing so far is no surprise.
Parker running again. Hard inside the 10, and he's going to be close to another first down. But time has expired as A&M does in fact run out the clock and coming back to beat Baylor 24-7. We'll be back.
And we struggled a little bit in the first half. We had some plays, but we just didn't quite connect on them. I felt good at halftime. I told the team, stick to what we're doing. We're going to get some breaks. We got to stay physical. We got to run the football. We're going to win this football game.
Congratulations, Coach. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And 23 straight games in November under R.C. Slocum. Our Chevrolet players of the game, the most valuable players, Dante Hall of A&M, who ran for 76 yards today, and Ty Atterbury of Baylor, who averaged 48 yards a punt and put 8 balls out inside or down inside the 20-yard line. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. It's been a Chevrolet tradition for more than a quarter of a century. Steve Zabriskie for Brian Holloway and Gary Reasons. Thanks for being with us today on ABC's College Football. Here is the Big 12 Conference South Division standings right now as A&M wins to move to 3-3 in the conference, 4 overall. So long from the heart of Texas, everybody.
You know what mentoring means? It means
this